Yeah, Dak Prescott. 4 years, $160 million, max value. Max value is $164. $66 million in a signing bonus. It's the highest in NFL history. $126 million guaranteed. That's second behind Pat Mahomes. $95 million guaranteed. $75. He gets paid up front in year one. Highest paid quarterback salary per year. That's Mahomes, then Prescott, then Watson, then Wilson, then Rodgers. First year cap hit is only $22 million. Obviously, would have been $37 if he was tagged. He has a no tag provision and no trade clause. That means at the end of this thing, in 4 more years, he will be an unrestricted free agent. When Dak hits free agency, Mahomes will have 8 years left in his deal. Of course, Mahomes' deal is backloaded, but he's going to be a Chief for life. From 2016 to 2019, it's important to point out that because of where he was drafted, he only made $2.7 million, and then, of course, he made $31.4. So $34 or so million over the first 4 years of his contract, and now he'll make $75 in year one. That's a good year. So I guess what we're supposed to say is, well, they're evening up for the wrongs of the past. This is a ridiculously terrible contract. There is nothing about this contract which is good for the Dallas Cowboys. Zero. Anyone who says otherwise is completely in the bag for players. It's a joke. It's so bad. It wouldn't be so bad if there were additional non-voidable years, essentially 2 voidable years at the end. If there weren't, it wasn't the chance. He's going to be a free agent in 4 years. It's a 5-year deal, and then he's done. He's out on the street. So either you're overpaying for an average quarterback, which is what I think they're doing, okay, or you're paying commensurate with a star quarterback who age-wise would be still in his relative prime when he's up. Like, what part of this is a good deal? And, of course, we told you this would happen going back 2 years ago because this is Jerry Jones. And I love they're going to sign a new TV deal, so it's going to help the salary cap. It's not about salary cap. If I ask you right now, gun to your head, right? Pat Mahomes or Dak Prescott, is anyone on earth picking Dak Prescott? If I ask you right now, Russell Wilson or Dak Prescott, is anyone on earth picking Dak Prescott? If I ask you right now, gun to your head, is anyone picking him over Aaron Rodgers? The answer is no. And Deshaun Watson, frankly, I mean, no. I have Deshaun Watson. I've pointed out the flaws of Deshaun Watson. Okay, now after we get past that, then we have some of the younger quarterbacks, right? But between the Kyler Murrays of the world, okay, the Baker Mayfields of the world, the Lamar Jacksons of the world, right? And if you want to sit there and tell me that Lamar Jackson's only won 1 playoff game, that's fine. I would point out that's 1 more playoff game than Dak Prescott has won, and 1 more MVP. Dak Prescott's good. He's a good leader. They found a diamond in the rough. But this, I guess we got to sign him, and I guess we got to get, like, congratulations to Dak and his agent and everything. They won everything. Everything. But there's no part about this deal other than for the next 4 years you have him. Because, oh, yeah, by the way, how good have the last 2 years been? Well, 2 years ago, he had #1 offense in football. Like, bro, they didn't score against the good teams. They loaded up against the absolute bottom dregs of the league. The only good part, I guess, is that if he's really bad, in 4 years, it'll all be over. And most of that money is paid up front. That's, I guess, the problem is that when you pay the signing bonus up front and you lower the cap number up front, that means the cap number is huge in the back. If I'm the cap, yes. What did you get? Yes, considering the cap is lower this year than last year, it gives you a little bit of cap flexibility. Congratulations. But 21% of your cap is still going to a quarterback who couldn't win the worst division in football 2 years ago when the worst division in football had to be won. Did not beat a team with a winning record for the last year and a half. Hasn't happened. And I don't put everything of winning and losing on a quarterback, but you can't beat one of them? Right? Not one? Not a single one. And then the question is, does everybody understand, including Dak Prescott, and including Cowboys fans, and including those championing this deal, what comes with this sort of contract? If, I said this yesterday in regards to all the free agents, the older players that are out there, you judge people based upon how much money they make. Right? It's the old Parade magazine thing. You know, every once a year they had the Parade magazine, what he make thing, you know? And you sit there and you're like, are you kidding me? Guy delivers mail in Cedar Rapids, Iowa, and he makes $70,000 a year? Yikes. A librarian in Tupelo, Mississippi makes 20? How about this one in New York City? How do you live as a plumber on 40 grand? Like, you know, Dak Prescott getting the biggest signing bonus in NFL history. Guess what? Now we expect you to actually win those games that to this point you have not won. And I won. Go back last year. We were not scoring early. They were scoring when they were behind late. Congratulations. You had the one miracle comeback win over the Atlanta Falcons. They were in the worst division in football, and they weren't in a good place when he got injured. And I'm not a Dak hater. I'm just a realist about it. He's Kirk Cousins. And a lot like Kirk Cousins, he got a great deal. It's just much better financially than Kirk Cousins' deal. I just sit here and go like, I don't understand. I mean, I guess I understand because it's Dallas, but I understand for Dallas. Now, here's the other part to it. Okay, one, do we understand that when you make this much money, guys you're judged completely differently. When you make this much money, nobody cares how many yards you have. Nobody cares about anything other than you better win football games. And they're still in a crummy division. The same crummy division they've been in the last 2 years, and they haven't done bubkiss in, despite all this big name talent, all this money lopped in. And oh yeah, by the way, good luck fixing your defense and fixing your offensive line when you have so much money at wide receiver, Amari Cooper, quarterback, Dak Prescott, running back, Ezekiel Elliott. Have fun. But here's the other part. Just imagine that they have a bad start to the season and they have a bad year again in Dallas. And imagine if a year from right now, Dak Prescott wants to be traded and won't play ever again. How would people feel? Do you know who I give you? I give you Deshaun Watson. So there's a lot to dig into. I understand that we all have this thing where we hate the man, right? We don't like commissioners. We don't like leaders. We don't like presidents. We don't like owners. We don't like Goodell. We don't like whatever. So I guess it's just another case of, hey, we're sticking it to the man. But when you hear these names, and I say, well, Pat Mahomes is the highest paid guy in football, you're like, yeah, that makes sense. Well, Russell Wilson is now the third highest. You're like, doesn't make sense. And Aaron Rodgers that makes sense. Dak Prescott's never been in the conversation for an MVP, nor should he be. Show me the postseason success. Show me the big game success. Show me the plays in which Dak Prescott makes that no one else on earth can make. That's what Russell does. That's what Deshaun does. That's what Aaron Rodgers does. That's what Pat Mahomes does. You know, he is a very good, sturdy car. By the way, he's coming off a debilitating injury where he didn't play half the year last year. But they didn't make the playoffs the year before. And it was his team. And he had plenty of weapons. And he put up plenty of yards, just not plenty of points against the good teams. All right. This was Bucky Brooks on our show last week. Take a listen.
I think they mismanaged this from the jump. They should have signed him to a long-term deal a couple of years ago, because now that deal would have looked like peanuts. But now the leverage is all on Dak Prescott. It's all on his side, because the franchise tag guarantees that he'll make $37 million. Next year, he'll be guaranteed $45 on a transition tag and $54 on an exclusive franchise tag. The Cowboys have to find a way to do a long-term deal with him, but they're going to have to do it on his terms. There's no incentive for him to cave to the demand. So it's going to have to be a deal that's over $40 million annually, and then they got to figure out if they want to give him a 5-year term, because when the TV money kicks in, he and his representatives know they don't want to do a deal that ages out quickly. So this is going to be a very expensive deal for the Dallas Cowboys to be able to retain him going forward. I think they have to do the deal because we saw what that team looked like without him offensively. They're a much better team with him at quarterback.
Well, Bucky was right. They overpaid. They felt like he had leverage. I did not. I feel like you could have used the franchise tag. You could have allowed him to become an outright free agent, and there wasn't, that money isn't actually on the market. That's the crazy part about it, is we all operate under this auspice like, oh, he would have gotten a bigger deal than that on the market. Of course he wouldn't have. Instead, they signed him to a 4-year deal, which is essentially 5 years, counting last year, which is what they wanted, but they can't tag him at the end of it. That's not a good contract for the Cowboys. Congrats to Dak. Absolutely won the negotiation.